For all I know, it's already broadcasting. It's never really clear to me when it's actually started. I don't know if it started now. Nothing popped up and told me it started, but I'm going to guess we're started now. There we go. I can see it on the YouTube. We're started here. I'm Joey. Welcome to the broadcast. It's going to take me a minute here to get everything set up for the live stream tonight, as per usual, just because my method is old school here. And that's how it is. So I'm just putting the images up, and here comes Brandon Hauk already. So that's awesome. Gonna have a good old-fashioned meteorological report. Comedy and meteorology equals Comedeorology. That's your show about how much the weather sucks. Not made for kids, YouTube. There, yeah, it's not especially made for kids. No, not that kids can't watch it, but saved. Yeah, we got a brand new image. We're good to go. We got a show here. Okay. Welcome. In a minute, I'll start sharing that around. Oh, I missed hitting the click there to add Brandon, and we got Hilding and Brandon coming in, which is excellent news. Excellent news, because that means someone other than me can talk for a minute while I'm furiously trying to share this to all the different media sites. Hi, my name is Joey Only. You can see down there in the bottom corner. Joey Only, the Caribou Weather Dude. Welcome to my channel. Hey, Hilding Donaldson, how you doing tonight?
Oh, it's doing great.
Yeah, is it doing great?
Yeah, it was warmer today. It was up to -8. It's been -19 steady through since last Friday, so I really appreciated it being up a little bit.
Just trying to find our live stream here. Got it. You still there?
Yep.
Okay, good. I got everything working, functioning. Hi, Dorothy. Hi, Teresa. Yeah. We've gone through the worst of it. Absolutely, we've gone through the worst of the cold. It's not going to be warm necessarily anytime soon, but that radiant heat in the daytime is quite lovely, right? Like this time of year is not so bad to have a cold snap because at least you get that bit of a warm up during the day from that power of the sun's heat.
Well, yeah, you can notice the days getting longer in February usually. You know.
That and the angle of the sunlight too, right? It's very
Yeah.
direct.
Well, I don't know if you noticed the sunset pictures I posted yesterday from the day before, and I was getting a reflection of the sunset in the east while the sun had already gone down in the west, but the sky was still light. And it made an amazing effect. And you don't usually get that, you know, but you do in February. Seems to be the time for that.
I saw just a little bit of cloud yesterday when I was out and about, and I said, "Oh, goody, a little bit of cloud. That's a good sign. It's a good sign."
Yeah, we
That's a
have a
fun.
rim bank in the west and the north here that I can see. Other than that, we had no clouds at all. But rim bank in the west usually means there's Pacific buildup, coming in.
I'm still just sharing around furiously trying to put the link anywhere we can, you know,
Yeah.
trying to get that word around. But I think I'm pretty much done now, and I'm just going to add it onto my own personal page here once. Oh, and I need to add it to Blue Sky as well. You can follow me there. So, yeah, thinking about some different things, some different outcomes for the show. Like we've been having quite a downturn, and I'm not
Mhm.
sure if it's just me actually having this downturn in the YouTube world in
Well, it
terms
does
of
seem like the algorithms are all messed up for all kinds of other things too. My Facebook algorithm and my YouTube algorithm have been all mixed up in the past 3 weeks.
well, we know the Facebook one's intentional.
Hmm.
We know that's intentionally being done and has been for some time. We know that Twitter as well, it's intentionally trying to manipulate your feed. And a good example is it's like instead of having anything meaningful, it's off. There was for a while I was just getting these AI art pages nonstop or
Yeah.
ads for ridiculous things,
Hmm.
like for casting spells on people and and stuff like that, and then these reels always across that are just titty girls, titty girls, titty girls, and I never click on them, but they always keep coming back.
Yeah.
So it's you know uh those algorithms are being manipulated on purpose.
Well,
That's
I know on
absolutely.
YouTube, I have about 5 different channels that I follow that I see a video a week from, that it's been really hard to find them in the past 2 weeks because YouTube has been not putting them on my page. And I mean, I've never not watched one. Why do they stop putting the things that I always watch in front of me? But no, they had to put anything that had anything political in it first.
Well, that's
That
the
was,
thing too, and that's like people. I don't want to make this a political discussion because that's I have other avenues on the channel to share my political views.
yeah,
Um, Shit, what was I gonna say? Oh well, I guess that's where it ends.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, yeah, it's difficult right now because uh, even if it's not intentional on YouTube's part, and even though I've maybe lost a few subscribers for talking about politics on my other shows, what's also happening is there's just so much upheaval. I mean, people can't not tune in. So
Yeah.
if you do come out, you do turn on your YouTube, it's like, well, there's Joey only saying it's winter still. Well, that's pretty fucking boring. It's been winter for a long time. Who wants to watch weather videos about the same thing every day?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look, there's a fascist coup going on.
Yeah.
Click. And then let's be real about what people want to tune into right now. This is overlaying precipitation on top of cold.
Mm-hmm.
Desi's back. But what you're going to see here as we look at BC for the next little while, I mean, I could speed it up just a little here, and you're going to see is BC really is we're not warming up much. Some cold for you down there in Alberta, eh, Brandon? You got like a cold weather warning or something?
Not at the moment. It's actually warmed up to -10 today, but we're gonna stay cold right through the weekend there. Oh yes.
So I'm thinking, because a lot of like I put the most work into this show out of everything I do, but get the least return for it. And then what happens is everyone watches the live stream who's going to watch, and then when I make a produced video in the end and put it out tomorrow, it doesn't really get watched by anyone. It gets like 100 views, the final cut. And then I spend a lot of extra energy making this television ready version to send to Rogers TV. And it used to be that I would get my edits done and sent to the radio stations before midnight on this evening. You know what I mean? Like we'd get done and I'd say, oh, well, radio edit's pretty quick. And I just slop it together and I wouldn't really care about the presentation too much because it had to be radio friendly. Dog, stop that. You're being noisy. So I'm feeling that, making that cut from Rogers TV and focusing on just being a radio version we put out and a podcast version. And of course, we do the live stream like we always do. But I don't have all this extra effort. It's not like I'm not grateful to Rogers, and not that I expect that just because they're $1 billion company, they're going to bend rules for us as a public access show. But how do we raise our value as a show at the same time? Like from my music career, I knew this, right? Eventually, I had to say, "Hey, I'm dying from exposure,"
Yep.
and at some point, I need to like cut down the amount of work because then what happens is Thursday I don't feel like putting any weather videos out because I'm like, oh, we got the podcast tonight and I'm going to be all editing all day tomorrow. So then I end up with Thursday and Friday not having any real new content to the channel, but then I have the kids in the weekend. So only once in a while do I make a video on a Saturday. So it becomes like a 3-day gap in my channel with the podcast and at the beginning of it, the live stream, which is great. But it means it's killing my momentum in revenue too. Whereas if I didn't have this TV thing we're trying to do, I could wake up on Friday morning with the show already sent to the radio and say, "Oh, look, I'm going to take a walk outside and film some stuff and continue to produce content." Hey, Mark Ingalls,
Hello. Are you
need it
breaking
all.
the news to everybody?
Well, I'm putting it out there that maybe we won't have a finalized YouTube slash Rogers episode, but there'll still remain a podcast radio version.
Yes, you heard it here first. I did not hear it here first. I heard it in the group chat first.
Well, I didn't know what the outcome of that discussion was going to be. I just was kind of like, it's kind of always been a thing creatively for me. If I wake up in the morning, I'm excited about, or, about what we're going to be doing today as artists. If I wake up and it feels like, oh, it's work, like, oh, well, now begins the slog of my entire Thursday night being written off, and now my Friday too. And I have to admit, like when Rogers wanted it to get sent by email, it's a reasonable request, but because of the speed of my internet uplinks here,
Yeah.
it takes
Yeah.
me like 30 extra minutes now to send it to them. Right? So it's just
Not to
extra
mention
work
the
on.
times that it doesn't connect and you have to restart it 3 times.
So I've had a bunch of Fridays now where I've ended up having to run to town. It's like, oh, I can't wait any longer. But then when I do that, I don't have any time in town.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get back and then click it to add it to YouTube. And then I don't have basically any mental energy left at that point to promote what we just did.
Yep.
Instead
Yeah.
of like saying, hey, putting out the podcast is out here, da, 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 and I'm still making content. But, by that
Well,
point, I get to Friday night, I just want to move on.
and we should be clear, it's nothing wrong with how Rogers has treated us. It's just
No.
we have a lot going. Well, you have a lot going on in your life. We all do. And also, like, I don't know how to do video editing and stuff. So, I can't step up to the plate.
Well, it's a poverty problem, partly. And
Yeah.
it's I can't be spending hours and hours of a work day doing something that's not
going to bring you returns.
Yeah.
that isn't bringing a return,
Yep.
as fun as it is and as cool as the idea is.
Yep.
But I think too, when we cut that off, that means when we're doing our actual show and you're doing your talk, I could have this map up because the radio listeners, you can be describing what we're looking at here to the radio listeners or whatever. But it means like when we're doing the live stream has more value because it's not just an hour
Yeah.
suddenly where our viewers have to like just sit there and listen to us talk and talk only, which is very entertaining. But I can't use any other images. And if it's radio, I can play my friends' songs, and I just have to make sure I tell them, oh, by the way, I used Tim Huss's song, this, so they can put it in their book so that Tim Huss can get his payout from radio. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So it's like there's a built-in process within radio to use songs that there isn't within that television.
I
what I
really
mean?
wish we could get permission to play the voicemail that was left for Brandon Hauk today.
Play it, Brandon. I haven't heard this.
He sent
Oh.
it to me this
Are you
morning.
sure it's you have I
You are not coming in. You are experiencing the
happens for
Wells
long.
internet connectivity.
I think it's the Brandon Howe connectivity.
Needs to put on his tinfoil hat.
Yeah, it's me. Yeah.
Here
Gotta
comes
put on
Karen
my
Richards.
barometer hat.
Yeah. Barometer Brandon. He knows where to put the pressure.
Oh yes. I might see that.
I will know. I had up to this point in my life felt like I had made it in life, but now that I've heard that voicemail, there's a new goal. I have not made
Oh,
it
yes.
in life yet.
Especially if you don't know the person who sent the
I
voicemail.
know.
Even better. I'll s- I'll send Joey the. You'll have to find it through the
Just
one
play it for us,
hour.
Brandon. Just play it.
Yeah, just play it off your phone. Put your phone next to your mic. This is not professional radio yet.
All right, I'll put it off the mic.
It
All
started
right,
at like
I'll open up.
105.
Okay, well done.
Dry weather,
All
guys.
right, here we go. Let's see if you can you hear this? Hopefully. Okay.
It's hot. Listen, getting sexy in here. Just on Macy Hall, by the way. What? Macy Hall? What about her? Her boyfriend. Yeah. The way that he asked her to be her Valentine, which is so cute, with Pokemon cards. He spelt out, "Will you be my Valentine?" using Pokemon cards. It's so nerdy. I love it. You can see it on our social media, by the way. Go follow Macy Hall. She makes me laugh. Someone's getting poked, Mom.
That was a message on your machine?
Why did it stop?
Loud line. We had an extra call.
There we go.
It needed its own moment. For certain reasons. It's from none other than Scott E. Dangerously. Oh, yeah, great. A contributor to the show. Absolutely. Brilliant mind. And,
Oh, we're losing you.
Yeah. You got to turn up your volume or something.
Wow, we almost had a.
I know. We
bit.
were this close.
We almost had a bit. Dry weather, guys. Look at where's it going? There it goes. See you later. We're out of here. Bye, Newfoundland. See ya.
Well
Oh, hey,
done. Here we
Greenland. I'm taking you over. That's what it's saying. I'm taking you over, Greenland.
Oh, he's got it. He's got it.
Dave Line era show. You had a doctor of love called. What was his name again? Dr. Fitzwell? Yeah, Dr. Richard Fitzwell. Never happened to him. Recently, I have seen Dave and 3DS have been pumping the tires of Mr. Mike to get in.
Man, Brandon Houck, your internet is way too bad
getting a
tonight.
little hot under the collar for the sultry tones of one. But I think it's time to talk about the real desirable one of the Wheeler in the Morning crew. Because, yeah, Mike may be the afternoon drive host and the music director, but let me ask you one thing. Does he put the meat in meteorology? I didn't think so. Even I can prognosticate that if you were to go on a Valentine's date with our weather guy, Brandon, the forecasted humidity would be quite, moist. You know, even Tyler will tell you there's a reason why they call him the crook from Brooks. And it's because he just, yeah, Mike's got muscles. And yeah, Devin sounds great, but only barometer Brandon knows the right kind of pressure. Hachi machi va va voom. The winds of Valentine's are blowing.
Well, that's too bad we only get bits of it.
In the air.
Some
That's
sexy
okay.
bits,
We got
though.
the best bits for sure. We definitely got the best bits.
Some sexy bits there.
Yeah, barometer Brandon knows the right kind of pressure.
Yeah. Barometer Brandon.
Brandon Houck must not be in Brooks, Alberta tonight because it is not moist there.
Right.
No. Well, except for the ground, I guess.
Yeah, how's the puddle?
White.
No precip, man. No precip. And Kamloops, did you see that Juna Birchwater put up? Driest January. Kamloops record.
It was pretty dry down here too. It felt like, I mean, we had a couple of days of like, it spat some drizzle out a little bit, but we had hardly any rain this month or last month. It was crazy.
It is crazy. It is crazy, and this would be the month that you would think we would be putting on the snow in Wells often. It's not that we haven't had dry Februarys before. I just don't know if we can afford it, you know?
Right. I mean,
Like
February's trying to make up for it. At least down here, I got another 3 centimeters overnight.
our forecast is dry and has been. There's a little bit of snow on people's vehicles this morning from a little bit of humidity that got in the air and was forced to fall down when it got cold.
Thank you, Brandon.
Yes, Brandon, thank you. So what is this
You're
all about? So
welcome.
are they trying to sell you on dates? They're trying to raffle you off on the radio
Who
station?
knows? Scotty dangerously sure does. Yeah.
Yeah, trying to raffle you off in Winnipeg. You're gonna have to drive over there.
As I got the right impression.
Well,
Yeah.
I
I'll
pity
catch
you.
a flight next week. Who knows?
You're gonna want somebody to take them to some smoking good barbecue.
I pity you because
Oh, that's right.
I remember I used to date humans and it was terrible, And that was like the ones I picked, not even the ones I just, who knows what you're getting this time. Okay, here's Canada's weather story right now. I didn't click on anything. Why are you telling me that? Okay, Arctic outflow continues. Minus 20s, minus 20s. Yeah, it's in. So it's like I just hate that they get a cold weather warning and we don't, but it's colder here, and it's like I know the criteria is different, but 2 people froze to death in Prince George this week. At what point do you say, well, does it matter that the criteria is different if this is whether it will kill people? Like at least a special weather statement, because then you have people saying in Prince George, well, there's an extreme cold warning going on, and I'm like, well, actually, there's not, but you need to act like there's one. I know that's just splitting hairs with Environment Canada and whatnot, but we hit minus 33 here. And and they're getting cold weather warning for minus 8 in the coast or whatever, right? It's like, come on. And I know that means like a lot of Canada would have these kind of warnings on them all the time. So like I don't know how practical it is or feasible, but it's
Well, one thing that they do in the U.S. is if it's not to the level of like, an alert in that specific area, because you make a point about, the rest of Canada and whatever. In the US, they might issue a special weather statement where it's not explicitly a cold warning, but they do issue a statement that says, hey guys, it is going to be cold. We're cooling off a lot. And that's more aimed at like emergency management and, authorities and stuff to maybe mitigate those problems. I've even seen it in Portland where like, say it's 25 Fahrenheit or minus 4 C or something, whatever that is. And they'll be like, yeah, so vulnerable population should be whatever. And that it's not the people who are vulnerable that are looking at that. It's city of Portland and all the suburbs and the county and all that stuff.
absolutely because we can look at something I got here in a second. But yeah, back to snow squalls off the Great Lakes there. And just the never ending. Remember those pictures from a few weeks ago, the stop sign that was just sticking out of the snow. It's been absolutely, and snow squall watch along the St. Lawrence even. And some weather coming out to Nova Scotia, as you saw in those graphics earlier. Saw there was a storm coming up that way. 120 kilometers from St. George to Grossmore Friday morning until Friday afternoon. Local enhancement of southeasterly flow typically occurs in the vicinities of Cape St. George, Porto Bay, the Outer Bay Islands, Trout River, Bombay, Western Brook Pond, and St. Paul's Bay. Look out! Never-ending snow squall warnings on the Ontario. 25 centimeter possible, maybe 15. Sault Ste. Marie back into it again, 15 to 20, 70-kilometer-hour gusts. I did look a little earlier on the windy and was looking at some of the wind gusts when we were on the Kins and Klomp show, Brandon, Frankie, and I were at 4 o'clock my time today. I was, well, what's going on in Ontario in case they wanted to ask anything specific about weather. And then we never actually did. But I was looking at that time, there was like 65-kilometer gusts near Sault Ste. Marie and stuff like that at that time. In fact, while we're on the topic, 6:56. We almost got Frankie here coming in just a minute.
Yes.
Minus 20.9 here
Look, we
right
don't
now.
need-
Not too. It's warming up. It's warming up in Wells. See, a whole 20. So the last night we hit 25.2 this morning. Just go have a look at weekly mode and see.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible how it's minus 21 there, and Calgary did plus 28 the other day.
Yeah. What was that about, Brandon? He's probably going to line that up for us for his segment.
Sorry for the spoiler.
And here's
Oh
how
yeah.
he's
I
like,
don't do that. Oh no.
effingly talk about that. He says.
We're a little unstable over here. Today.
You must be in a better mental state, seeing as you passed it on to your internet.
Yeah.
Well, here's the greater point I want to make. Looking at these temperatures getting down to 33 this week, right? And even Monday we're starting to get down there. We're getting into the 20s, right? And we'll go have a look at monthly mode, even though that only gives us a couple extra days.
I'm throwing
It's the
this.
beginning of the month. But look at how this temperature drops off, and we'll go back to January now, and we'll just pretend that. Here's the point I'm trying to make. So look at that drop off. So we had this nice warm weather there. In fact, I believe our warmest temperatures in the month of January, that 5.8, came in this period. There you go, right there. Just a week before the big cool off. So then we had some big ups and downs there, but then, pretty nice warm week sitting around 0 and well 0, and then boom, drops off the chart. And what happens is people aren't ready. They get into this mode of, and the weather's been more or less normal for a while, and then suddenly it's minus 33 and people are caught unprepared. And not just people, but you know what I'm saying. The whole system, everybody. Okay.
It's just like in like May or whatever, when it's starting to that first good warm spell of the year, they're always like, it's not going to be like super hot, but remember, the rivers are still high and they're still cold, so don't be stupid.
Yeah.
It's been a while since it's been this warm, so just remember, it's the same way on the other side. It's been a while since it's been this cold.
I'm just starting to read all the comments from everybody. Really, really great comments, and we'll try to address some of them here as we get going in a few minutes. I'm about to set the show up for everybody because it's that time now, isn't it? Frankie's now here.
Yes, I'm here.
And we're ready.
Yeah.
Well, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather we got. Wait a minute. Well, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather or not.
It's the Comedeorological Report. I'm Joey Olney, your host up here in Wells, British Columbia, 3,953 feet above sea level. The GPS keeps consistently saying that number, and I'm going to go with that number from now on. That adds 18 feet to what I've been telling you for years. Yeah, we're sitting here at the top of British Columbia, up here in the Caribou Mountains. I'm the man of infinite wisdom of the backcountry, here with my gang of comedeorologists, comedy meteorologists, comedeorologists. It's your show about how much the weather sucks in Canada. Tonight we are joined with, as always, the star Frankie McDonald out there in Sydney, Nova Scotia. We got the co-host Brandon Houck out there in Brooks, Alberta. We have meteorologist Mark Ingalls In Surrey, British Columbia, we have our British Columbia faithfuls, Hilding Donaldson and Karen Richards in Grassy Plains and Prince George, BC. And you never know who might also show up in the show. You're hearing us on C48.7 FM, CKW 95.9 FM, and CFBX 92.5 FM in Prince George, Winnipeg, and Kamloops, and Rogers Television for at least the next little while longer. We'll talk about some plans I have for the show, maybe at the end of the show tonight. But for now, let's start thinking about all the good things that we have lined up for you tonight. And of course, number one off the top is always the man himself. His name is Frankie McDonald. He lives out there in Brooksville, in Sydney, Nova Scotia. I'm getting all my getting everything all mixed up here. He lives out there in Sydney, Nova Scotia, and he's the world's most famous weatherman.
Frankie!
Can you yodel for us?
Who has the worst weather in the world, Frankie?
Ladies and gentlemen, Frankie!
Frankie McDonald, how you doing so far, buddy?
I'm doing great so far. It's originally having heavy snow this Sunday in Sydney, Nova Scotia, but it's light snow in Sydney, Nova Scotia this Sunday coming. Formerly heavy snow for the Super Bowl. And it's going to bring heavy snow in St. John's, Newfoundland on Sunday night with high winds. And it's going to bring lots of snow all across the eastern United States next week, like Nebraska, Kansas, and parts of Missouri, where Anthony Rogers, the host of the Anthony Rogers Show, lives. Montreal had snow today where Base Guy lives.
What else?
Then it got
Frankie?
some more snow in Toronto, Ontario this Saturday coming. And all those places got really cold in Vancouver, British Columbia, Seattle, Portland. Lots of cold weather in Northern California. In warm weather in Southern California, battered by the fires last month in January. It's really hot out down Texas where Trey Campbell lives. It's really hot in Mexico right now. It's really hot there right now. It's extremely cold up in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta right now. It's extremely cold there right now. Up in Alaska, and weather there right now is really cold up in Alaska. Then I got a big, powerful storm. Came off the coast of Japan. It's going to be heading towards Magadan, Russia as well. Then I got lots of hot air in Cuba right now. Warm air in Florida. It's really dry in Mexico right now. Lots of showers of forecast in Guatemala, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Nigeria, Honduras. And even Panama got showers in the forecast. As for right and the weather all across South America. Lots of rain thunderstorms going on in Venezuela right now. And the next weekend, Amazon rainforest in Brazil and parts of Colombia, Ecuador, Bolivia, parts of Peru. It's really dry, a little bit wet in the forecast in northern Chile, in the desert area. In southern Chile. Lots of rain in southern coastal areas of Chile. It's really dry in Argentina right now. Lots of rain in Rio de Janeiro, Sao Paulo, Brazil right now. And then down in the Falkland Islands. And it got really windy conditions this Monday coming up. And cold air in Falkland Islands as well. Weather all across Europe. It's really cold in England, Wales, Scotland, Ireland right now. Then you got a little bit of warm weather in Spain. You got cold weather in France, Germany, Denmark, Netherlands, and Poland. And all those places. It's dry in Norway, Finland, Sweden right now. In Moscow, Russia, and Minsk, Belarus, and Ukraine is really warm. It got some showers in the forecast in Italy right now. Over in Bosnia, Croatia, it's really dry right now. So is Albania and Greece. It's really cold in Turkey right now.
That sucks. What else? Frankie's got a bit of a cough.
Up in parts of Syria, it's really cold there right now. And got some warm weather in. Got parts of cold weather hitting parts of Algeria. In Libya, it's really cold there right now. As well, in Western Pacific, weather all across Japan. Lots of cold air coming off the coast. Lots of storms in Japan right now. over in Japan somewhere, and lots of snow squalls in northern Japan and western Japan right now because the water's very warm off the coast of Japan, triggering a lot of CFX snow in west coast of Japan right now. In South Korea,
Record
it's really
snow.
cold and some snow in the forecast in Seoul, South Korea. It's extremely cold in Pyongyang, North Korea right now. In fact, Russia, it's really, really cold right now. So it's northeastern China, in Mongolia, in Siberia, Russia. It's really cold there right now. Once again, in next month, Siberia will be gradually warming up. One day at a time in Siberia. It's really warm in Hong Kong right now. A lot of rain thunderstorms going on in Vietnam and Philippines right now. It's really dry in Myanmar, Bangladesh right now. Over in Indonesia, lots of rain and thunderstorms going on in forecast in Indonesia right now. There's a cyclones off the coast of Indonesia. It's in the Indian Ocean. In Philippines and Singapore and Malaysia and Papua New Guinea and all those places. It's really dry in Saudi Arabia right now. It's really, really dry in Sri Lanka, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, and all those countries, including Ethiopia, Sudan right now. And it's really dry in Nigeria, Ghana right now, in Africa. They're in the dry season right now. In Southern Africa, in Angola, in Mozambique, in Tanzania, in Northern Zambia, in South Africa, parts of Botswana, lots of rain thunderstorms going on there right now. And they got some, and then they got some lots of thunderstorms to forecasting, rain and thunderstorms in Madagascar, Africa, La Reunion, and Mauritius Islands as well. And weather all across Australia. It's really dry in Perth, Australia right now. It's really hot in Perth, Australia, and Central Australia. Lots of rain thunderstorms going on in Northern Australia, possible large hail dates like this. It's then it got lots of thunderstorms headed towards Sydney, Australia this Sunday coming up. Lots of rain thunderstorms in Queensland, Australia, New South Wales, Australia, including Melbourne, Brisbane, Sydney, and all those places. And lots of showers. So got showers and forecast North Island and South Island, New Zealand. But it's warm there right now. It's sunny in Auckland, Wellington, and all those places. All the way down to Invercargill, New Zealand. And still be starting to get some darkness in Antarctica this month. Then we start to get some daylight up in the Arctic as well.
Frankie McDonald, worldwide weather. Frankie McDonald, what were you doing this week, Frankie? We were on the Kins and Klomp show a little earlier with Brandon Houck, and that was a lot of fun. Got to see your dad again.
Yes, and that was on Kids and Club podcast. It went great. That was on another podcast football show before here.
A football show. I sure like the Kins and Klomp show. They're out of Timmins, Ontario, and those guys are always very funny. And they're an example, Frankie, of the people you introduced me to over the years. You taught me how to be a podcaster, how to be a YouTuber in a sense. Like I knew how to be a radio guy, but it's kind of a different game, you know. Those guys, thanks, Jamie and Mark. Great show today. Had a lot of fun. Anyone got questions for Frankie here on the panel or even in the chat? We'll have a look and see if there's any questions there.
I have a question for Frankie.
Yes.
Okay,
Frankie.
Mark?
Yeah, sorry. Frankie, what is the most Canadian flavor of ice cream?
Maple syrup.
That's a man who knows.
Is that like a flavor, maple syrup ice cream?
I mean, it's not hard. Just find some vanilla ice cream in the grocery store and dump some maple syrup on it.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's not like a flavor you can buy. Like you can't buy maple syrup ice cream.
Actually, we went to an ice cream shop by the White Rock Pier the other day that had maple hazelnut, maybe.
Yeah, maple hazelnut is a flavor you can buy. I usually get it.
Maple walnut.
Maple
May have
walnut.
been maple
yeah,
walnut.
frozen
It was either
yogurt.
maple walnut or maple hazelnut.
Yeah, you know, and it's like they call it maple, but it's like corn syrup half the time, right? It's like, well, how can they call it maple? But that's the world we live in today, where the postmodern world of relativism, where nothing's true or real or matters. Any other questions for Frankie? What is the most Canadian food? To me, it's Hawkins Cheesies. There
Like
should be a
bacon.
Hawkins Cheesies ice cream.
It means they got bacon on the pizza.
Yeah, the bacon on the pizza. Do they not do that somewhere else in the world? Do other people not have bacon on pizza? Is that not a thing in America?
Are we talking about like normal bacon or ham?
It's like you make both bacon on the pizza.
Yeah, like bacon on a pizza. You don't have
I
that?
What
I've
about pineapple
seen
on
it.
a pizza?
Oh, well, that's fine. Like people who get edgy
That's
about that, like
Canadian, though.
whatever. Yeah, that is Canadian. That's true.
The
I've
guy who
seen
made the Hawaiian pizza used to have a pizza shop in the town I grew up in Madoc, Ontario.
I've seen like bacon on pizza occasionally in the US, but usually it's like bacon bits. And usually it's fake bacon bits, back to your point about postmodern fakeness.
Fake bacon bits on pizza?
Yeah.
No, why? Why? And it's in a country of gluttony where you can go to a baseball game and get a 25-foot long poutine or something. No, they don't have poutine. What do they have? Some 25-foot long
Hot
cheese
dog.
dog. Yeah, a hot dog with bug excrements and hair and things in it and all this. And
Yep.
but in a
Fake
country of
bacon bits.
excess, you can't. There's no bacon on your pizza. It's
I take
crazy.
that.
But we call ham Canadian bacon. So that's why I was confused because like it's ham and pineapple here, but it's Canadian bacon pineapple in the States.
But ham is a pig.
Bacon comes from a pig.
I know, but
Well, I
ham's
take
like
a
the
pack
type
of
of
maple
meat it
bacon
is.
and chop it up and put it on top of my pizza and cover it with cheese. I do it all the time.
That's what this is really about, Canadians. They want our bacon. We got to defend our bacon. Extra tariffs on bacon to red states. Okay.
Totally.
All right.
That would be an export tax, not a tariff, actually.
California, Oregon, Washington's blue states, and Colorado, and New England.
Speaking of barbecues and pizza,
The Brandon Hauk Report.
Oh, hi. This is the Brandon Hauk Report.
brought to you by
Smoking good barbecue.
Smoking Good Barbecue. Brandon Hauk, and he's blank. He suddenly his screen is blank, and he's been having internet problems tonight. That was the Brandon Hauk Report, everybody. It was good. It was good, wasn't it? I really enjoyed that segment there where I introduced him and he wasn't there.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
making
I
some
might go
noises.
for the lie. I gotta go read for a while. I'll be back.
I got to go away for a while. It's like right now he's like, oh, good, barbecue.
Cute.
It's like that right now. We'll get Brandon back, and it'll be funny. I swear it'll be great. It'll be so wonderful and informative and funny. It'll be the best thing you ever seen. Until then, you have to deal with the rest of us.
Just got the fat check for pushing that.
My name, Mark Ingalls.
Pushing that agenda. It says here, HARP, climate change, whatever, in my bank account.
Mark Ingalls again, down there in Surrey, British Columbia. What a weekend you had there, eh? Just nasty. There was even a spout there, a water spout off the coast reported, I heard, in Boundary Bay.
Yeah,
What do you got for
right
us?
by here. It was pretty spicy. Got a few centimeters of snow, nothing big, but south end of Langley got almost a foot, so that's about 30 centimeters. This was a really difficult forecast because we knew this band of heavy snow was going to set up, but we couldn't tell, is it going to be over downtown Vancouver? Is it going to be over Burnaby or over my house here in Surrey or over in Langley? And Langley was the big winner this time around. About I heard 20 to 30 centimeters of snow south side of Langley Township. I haven't driven out there to see it because I hate snow. So I've just been at home and at work and one day at the gym. But yeah, not doing a whole lot here. The we got another 3 centimeters of snow overnight last night. I didn't expect that to happen, but Ryan, I'm gonna screw this up, but Ryan Valtalainen, I think is how you say his last name. He lives in Vancouver, and he knew it was gonna happen. And in the group chat, he was making fun of me for not knowing that it was gonna happen. So it has been a snowy snow. This is what happens when at work I forecast for the northeastern US and
Cleveland.
not. Yeah, Cleveland. Yeah, Cleveland's been getting some good snow. And I think well, there was some freezing rain in West Virginia, Pennsylvania, states like that, but this is not a show about how much the weather sucks in the US. Yeah, we may get some flurries this weekend, but otherwise it's just cold and dry. Like, last month was mild and dry, and now we're cold and dry. But one thing that I've noticed here is they salt the living crud out of everything here. Like, I don't understand. And it's not just this week. I mean, it's more this week than other weeks just because of how much snow that we've had and how it's cold it's been. This has been the coldest week of the winter so far. But like, the road is white, but it's not from snow, it's from salt. They were salting the roads like last month. It was forecast to get a little bit below freezing, and they salted the road just in case. And then we had that one rainstorm, and so after the rainstorm, they're like, "Well, we better go salt the road again because the salt washed out."
Well,
Like,
people put salt on everything these days.
yes, are you feeling salty about that?
Oh,
But yeah, so I have to go wash my car a million times so the bottom side of it doesn't become rusty. Actually, haven't washed the car. I probably should. But yeah, it's astonishing how much salt people put down here, and like there are so many salt trucks here. I don't know. In Portland, anytime it snowed, it was just chaos because they have like 3 plows for the whole city. And I thought Surrey was going to be the same way because it hardly ever snows here. But no, I saw a line of 3 plows going down 28th Avenue when I was coming home from work today, like all in a row. Like, they got nothing better to do other than salt the road, I guess. It was above freezing this afternoon, and they're still out salting the roads. So uh, my car feels assaulted. Anyway, there's not really much going on. There is in Greece, actually. Frankie talked about Greece a little bit. Santorini is, of course, that very picturesque island in, what is that, the Aegean Sea there? I can't remember now. Um, anyway, they've been having some earthquakes, and Santorini
a big
is a
swarm.
volcano. Yeah, so they're having a big swarm near Santorini. The question is it related to the volcano or is it related to nearby faulting under the water? The largest earthquake's been magnitude 5.2 or something like that, for like five and change. Um, but it has led to people leaving the island because nobody. I think some people are on the hype train, and like, that's how it's always going to be. But I think a lot of people are also of the opinion that, like, well, it's probably not going to blow up, but I don't want to be here if it does.
Well,
So
that, you'd put me in that category. Like Frankie was saying today that we need to make because Kins and Klump are saying we want to make the blizzard blasters instead of storm chasers.
We need an earthquake blaster.
The earthquake chaser, the earthquake blasters, Frankie. The earthquake blaster. The earthquake chasers, Frankie's saying, right, Frankie?
Yeah.
We're chasing earthquakes.
there would be worse places to chase earthquakes. Like, oh no, you're sitting on the beach in Greece. It's warm. It's sunny. You got a Dr. Pepper in your hand, and you're just, oh, ground shakes a little bit. We chased it, guys. There are worse places to be in this world.
Yeah, the thing is, like, Frankie, I don't think I can be an earthquake chaser. It's, the idea that's like, I'm brave, I'll
And
go.
then you get the asteroid headed towards the Earth to 2032.
That's right. And it's got a 1.5% chance of hitting the Earth and killing everybody. I'm so glad. Yeah, I'm fingers crossed. And, hopefully we get some positive
The
news.
really, really cool thing about that is that's a 1.5% chance that I don't have to pay taxes after 2026 or whatever that year is.
Yeah, it's really good news when you look at the way things are going in the world. An asteroid coming is perfect. It's exactly what we need right now. I'm sure of it.
Well,
Yeah, but
that's all I have. That's all I have for the evening, and it looks like Brandon Houk's going to give it the old college try again. So
see if we get him back here in a sec. Yeah.
I'll
But yeah, earthquake chasing, I'm not down for that, Frankie. I've chased tornadoes, I've chased some severe thunderstorms. I've definitely been in front of a lot of pretty wild fires. Yeah, definitely. But when it comes to earthquakes, it's like, and now I don't even want to go to the coast. People are like, hey, come down and visit in Vancouver for 3 days. And I'm like, yeah, that'll be the 3 days the big one happens because I know my luck. I'm just going
I
to stay
wasn't
up here in the
keen
geologically inert region of Wells when there's
What
no major
happens when a big
faulting.
earthquake happens?
Yeah, exactly. What happens,
According to the
Frankie?
weather models, they're gonna officially a big snowstorm hit for St. John's, Newfoundland Sunday night.
I saw that. And Frankie, people of Vancouver, you can't escape from earthquakes forever. And it would be when I show up that it happens. I know it. That's how it always is. I'm not into chasing earthquakes. Blizzard blasters, yeah, we could do that. Brandon Houk, are you a blizzard blaster? And are you ready to go?
For those who can't see, Brandon Houk just disappeared from the video call again.
So we got no Brandon Houk right now. That's
Mark, can I ask
Karen.
a question for Mark? So, how did you survive your first Lower Mainland Armageddon snowfall of 2025?
Well, it's a bit like I've always kind of, this is how it is. In fact, it didn't snow that much here in Surrey, which of course, like, is whatever. Like, I know it doesn't snow much here, but I was like I said, I was shocked at how many snowplows the city has because in Portland they don't have many. And then, before Portland, I lived in Eastern Washington where like it does snow there, but it's more arid, kind of more like Kelowna, but put Kelowna at about sea level.
Without Albertans.
Right. Uh, and so we like, and all the snow is more powdery there, so it kind of just blows off. So like, I don't know. I mean, I've been at home and I work 2 kilometers from here, so like my world is small right now. I'm ready for the rain to be back. I'm ready to melt this snow. I want to go hiking I am not a winter, like, I do not do winter anything. Like, people are like, "Oh, you live in Vancouver now. Like, the skiing is wonderful up there." And like I've been told that, but I don't go skiing. That's too cold. And they're like, "Oh, but you warm up when you're going down the hill, and that's fine. You can warm up while you're going down the hill.
That's not
That's
how wind
okay."
chill works.
Even people from Vancouver, they go down Cuba for their vacations.
Yeah, we go to Vancouver.
Can I say
is like
something
Cuba.
about Cuba? Actually, I was on a WestJet flight from Calgary to Vancouver, and in their little magazine that they have on the airplane, they were advertising vacations in Havana. And it was just so weird to me because the US has the travel embargo to Cuba. So I've never like, and it's been in this way for long since before I was born. And so I've never like seen any advertising at all for Havana. And then I just flipped through and it was just like I don't know, weirdly surreal, like to me as an American, I'm like, Havana's there. It matters when there are hurricanes. I would like to go visit Havana actually, but like it was just weird to see.
And here's a bunch of propaganda about how bad they all are, and that's all we need to know.
Right, yeah. But they got cool cars.
Well, you never know how cold it is in Vancouver in January unless you spend it on the street.
Yeah. I don't
I did
envy
it
those.
once.
I mean, and it's humid here. Brandon Houk has been here and he turned up the moist maker. So it's a rough time to be on the streets here in Vancouver. Hopefully we warm up soon. Like I said, I want to be out on those low elevation trails like over by Indian Arm or whatever. I want to be out in the woods walking, finding geocaches, and show up at work and they're like, "Mark, what'd you do over the weekend?" "I don't know, walk 20 kilometers." Why not? But I don't want to snowshoe or anything like that. I just want to walk in the woods, in the rainy woods. Okay, I'm going to bed now. Good night, guys.
Yeah, just to
Hey, Mark.
Mark's impressed at Vancouver's snow removal and their ability to deal with it and how smooth that all went. And I'm here to tell you that that's the first time since 1889. Yeah, so it took a long time, but they finally figured it out for the first time. I think we
Hey,
might have
I said Surrey. I haven't been to Vancouver since it snowed, so I don't know.
it could be a disaster zone for all you know. But yeah, I can imagine that. Mark's like, he's in his office. He's like, man, it's the weather's really giving it bad in Cleveland, and they're like tapping him on the shoulder, like, man, there's a tornado out your window. Like, oh, wow,
I
yeah.
got something to say on that. I lived on the coast. I from 89 to 2020 11 is, yeah. Snow removal down there sucks. Sucks. I know Mark's like, he's new to it, but yeah, it's been bad for years and years and years.
It's the first time since 1889. But yeah, I can imagine that when you're forecasting for the other side of the continent, and it's sometimes you're not paying attention to what's happening out your own backyard. You know, I've even had that here, you know, where I'm like looking at some storm in BC going on, and suddenly I'm like, hey, look, wow, I've gone blurry again. Why? Why am I suddenly blurry? Stop being blurry. Okay,
Because I'm here.
Brandon, are you blurry still now too? Mark is gone. Brandon's frozen.
Brandon's back.
Maybe.
Frozen.
The Brandon Hoke report, please.
Frozen.
Please work.
Is it gonna
There
go?
must be an internet connection in
Maybe.
his area.
It's still alive. Yeah.
Try, Brandon.
All right. We'll go to somebody else for. Okay. Okay. We'll give this a go. It looks good on my end, but I don't know if it looks good on your end. So we're gonna wait. We're gonna wing it here. Okay. So here we go. Today, throughout the week here, we've had well, we've had some bitterly cold conditions, at least, and oh. Oh boy, this is not going good.
It's just my frozen face.
Oh, it's just your frozen face. Okay.
That's fine.
Cool.
There you go.
Cool. All right. All right. Everybody can hear me.
We can hear you though.
Everybody in the back. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. All right. I can be frozen. Okay. I like being frozen. All right. So, yes, we had some bitterly cold air through the week here. We've had some blasts of snow. We got like 9 centimeters of snow the other day. Actually, yesterday, 9 centimeters of snow in the area. It was great. Absolutely. And temperatures in the minus 20s, overnight lows in the minus 30s. So it's perfect weather here for the beginning of February. Below average, 20 degrees below average. Today, we were 10 degrees below average. And looks like in the long range forecast, we're going to stay at least 10 degrees or 20 degrees below average in our near future. So no sign of any major warm-ups coming our way, and there's going to be maybe some shots of flurries and snow showers as well for us here, especially on the prairies. They've had some issues with blowing snow, the Trans-Canada Highway closing in Regina, Saskatchewan there, and then further off to the east, they've have another snowstorm moving through the Maritimes today, some snow moving through the Great Lakes, and then big nor'easter heading towards parts of Nova Scotia and Newfoundland this
That
weekend.
means, and it
St.
must have been
John's,
shifted south. That means it's downgraded the light snow for Nova Scotia. It's headed for St. John's.
Oh, yes, it's going to be heading for St. John's. Could be a wallop of a storm for next weekend. And Iceland, last 24 hours, had quite the storm there. They had winds gusting 150 kilometers an hour, and they had lightning strikes over Iceland yesterday there. It's rare to get lightning out of a storms, so I thought that was kind of neat to see. And southern portion of the United States had some rough day. They had an ice storm last night to Indiana, into Ohio, into Pennsylvania. They had thunder ice, tornadoes touching down today in Kentucky, and we actually do have I think that tornado warnings just expired outside of Knoxville, Tennessee there. So Yeah, they've had some rough weather and then flash flooding in West Virginia, flash flood emergencies earlier today there. So that is that's what we're following on the weather front of things in the next couple days. So yeah, the big story for us definitely going to stay on the cold side. Okay. So, yes, I guess big weekend this weekend. It's Super Bowl weekend, I guess. Buffalo Wild Wings restaurant in the U.S. will be giving away free food if the Super Bowl goes to overtime. The bad news is the food comes from Buffalo Wild Wings. Now, also, glad that makes sure that the volume is working. And then earlier today, I had this great phone call. Apparently, I put the meat in thermometer. Absolutely, I guess. And only barometer Brandon knows how to apply the right pressure. Apparently, so
Yeah, that's what I
that was
heard.
an awesome phone call earlier today, and that is the latest on the Brandon Hoke report.
Yeah, Brandon Hoke down there. Yeah, he's just getting his internet connection there sorted out. There you go. We'll get him back here any second
yeah.
here. The Brandon Hoke report. Been good having you, Brandon. There's you can hear his dial-up internet. Okay, I should make that stop. That's really annoying. Okay, that's enough of that. Okay, hey Karen, you're unmuted, so let's go to you next. Karen Richards, Prince George. Been cold. I heard 2 people froze to death on the streets in Prince George this week.
That's what they're saying. Yeah, it's been cold. Cold. Not nice. Yeah, it's cold. I mean, my house has froze up a couple times. I'm sitting at 14 degrees in my trailer,
Ooh.
trying to keep warm. I feel for them on the streets. It's not easy out there at all.
Calves will never be delicate and friendly, even though
How about you, Hilding?
Well, it's an interesting week. You know, it started out the first day that it got cold. My boss went and left the dog here to stay with me while he went to Mexico for the winter, and the dog decided to jump on my door and knock the door open while I was out doing chores for 3 hours. And I come back in and my pipes are all froze and my fire's burned out. The dog's sitting there grinning on the doorstep. He can't make it into the house because he was tied to a chain, but he could sit on the doorstep.
And you could get just close enough to ruin your week.
Yeah. So that was the beginning. So I've had frozen pipes ever since last Friday.
And for now on, you leave the dog in the house when it's cold out.
Well, I leave her in the house when I'm in here, but otherwise she gets into my bookshelves and stuff because she's not used to my place. Jumps around looking for things, and there was mice in the cupboards, and she goes and smells them and pulls things all apart. So I like to make sure she's not in the house when I'm gone. So I put her outside on the chain. She has a dog house, but no, I just have to make sure my door latches properly. But amazingly, the water for the heifers keeps on running. It makes a real nice ice fountain out there, but they have liquid water, and the rest of the big cows, they all eat snow, and they're doing great. They're not pushing the fence or anything. We have enough feed for them, so we're pretty happy with everything that's going on the farm here.
Yeah, I keep my books on the shelf there off the ground just because I don't want Kenny getting into them and getting smart. You got to keep your dog a dog, Don't want your dog getting too smart. Getting too smart, them dogs. Yeah, cold, dry, cold. That's all it's been, man. It's been dry, it's been cold, and it's like, there's maybe a chance at the end of next week something happens for BC, but it's not,
Well, I mean,
it's not a sure
today.
bet. No, I don't see a sure bet that we got big snow coming back to BC in the next 10 days at least, and maybe beyond.
It warmed up today. I mean, it was up to -8 all afternoon. and it only went to -11 last night instead of -21 like it's been every day since last Friday. So it's been warmer.
We hit 25 below last night, and the difference between 25 below and 33 in this old building, it's huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge. Like, but at and that's why you always hear me kind of complaining or getting bitter, like, no, not 30, because it's like, well, at 25, I can keep this house still with just the stove going pretty good. I don't have the pipes freezing up, and when you get into that 30s, and then the stove goes out in the middle of the night, you wake up in the morning, and it's like, ugh. And today I woke up and I was like, oh, it's nice in the house. It must be so warm outside. And it was like 25. It said on the thermometer. I was like, wow. But, that last 8 degrees, like it's kind of where things start getting weird. It's like 30s where the weirdness starts, the winter weird things,
Cold War.
foggy, weird winter. Yeah, and then we had last week Friday, Avalanche Canada put out this bulletin, saying, hey, a whole bunch of new snow coming to lots of parts of BC. It's a short period of time, but it's going to make for unstable snowpack because we got all the little crystals on top of the old snow, which has been all compressed and it's hard. It's on one layer, then you get all the fresh snow on top, and then woof, off it goes. And next thing you know, so they make this bulletin. I make a video on YouTube, tell the world, hey, still we had like a bunch of incidents this week. One where a guy got knocked unconscious in Squamish. One where a guy had a leg fracture, or I shouldn't say a guy, I don't know, a person, leg fracture. Another one where they had a shoulder dislocation or something like that. So a couple like pretty serious, and a couple of these incidents where people were buried completely and had to be dug out. There's like an arm sticking out of the snow. They found the one guy, and then his snowboard was never found, just gone, right? And it's like, I think coming into this weekend, conditions are a little better for playing in the mountains than they were last weekend. And, you check Avalanche Canada's site and it will confirm that for you. But, like, man, before you go play in the mountains, A, check Avalanche Canada. B, read their bulletin. C, consider their advice. D, know how to do avalanche testing, which some of these people did. They explained that they did testing, and then they had a slide come afterwards, right? Know how to do your testing and have your beacons, your transponders. Be ready to practice avalanche safety. Because it's real. We've been lucky this year. We really have had a good winter without any deaths so far that I'm aware of in BC. It's been really good. Be good if we could keep that, get through a whole winter where no one dies. And we were pretty close a couple times this week. But I'm screaming, guys, not now. And it's like, brap. I watch the machines, the trucks with the trailers and machines come to Wells here because we have the fantastic riding country. I'm like, I know they're going to go up to Groundhog, and I know half these guys are going to hit the throttle and try to hill climb. And, it's been a while since we had an avalanche incident here in Wells, but I would like to not have one, anytime soon. And that's just my thoughts on that. I got a couple Frankie videos lined up, hey, Frankie?
Yes.
I do. I got Frankie McDonald update. I got extremely cold air for British Columbia, which you got your forecast correct, and a major snowstorm for Nova Scotia, which is coming on you now, coming up, and a snowstorm to hit Montreal, Quebec. All right, you ready, Frankie?
Where Base Guy lives.
Where Base Guy lives. Okay. 1 second. Here we go, everybody.
Hey everybody, it's Titan down. I'm down Victoria Road waiting here right now. It's pretty cool outside of Flurries where I'm at right now. Things are great so far. Things are going really well in Sydney, Nova Scotia. It's Flurries where I'm at right now. I've been doing great on my videos and things are going really well so far. Things are going really great. Let's see how you're doing. I'm doing really, really great so far. I'm having a great day. Flurry Salt in Sydney, Nova Scotia, where I'm at right now. I can see flurries up in the sky from Frank Down. This is Frankie McDowell, my own TV station, live from Sydney, Nova Scotia. Extremely cold weather and cold Arctic airs headed towards interior British Columbia on February 1st and beyond in 2025 and beyond. I want every single person in interior British Columbia, especially in Prince George, to be extra prepared. That's going to be minus 40 with the wind chill, including Prince George, British Columbia, Dawson Creek, Fort St. John, Fort Nelson. It's going to hit Prince Rupert, it's going to hit Terrace and Smithers, British Columbia, and the surrounding areas. Really cold Arctic air is going to head towards Kamloops, Kelowna, Seminar, Vernon, Summerland, Oliver, and protecting BC. Weather's going to be so cold. I want every single person to have your furnaces and heat pumps ready to keep the house warm. Have your extra blankets and stuffed animals ready to keep you warm as well. Drink a lot of green tea, white tea, red tea. If you go for a walk, don't walk too far, especially people living in northern British Columbia and in northern interior British Columbia like Prince George, Fort Nelson, Liard, Fort St. John, Dawson Creek, and the surrounding areas as well, including Kamloops, Vernon, Kelowna, Revelstoke, Golden, Salmon Arm, 100 Mile House, Lynn, British Columbia, and Murray, British Columbia, including Yellowhead Highway 16, including Terrace, British Columbia, Kenneth, British Columbia, Prince Rupert, surrounding areas. Be extra prepared, dress really, really, really warm. If you go for a walk, don't even walk too far for people living in interior British Columbia, since weather's going to be so cold starting on February 1st, 2025 and beyond. Stay warm, be safe, be prepared. Don't get too cold. Stay warm and be safe. This is Frankie McDowell, my own TV station, live from Sydney, Nova Scotia. Massive snowstorms head towards Nova Scotia on Sunday, February 9, 2025. It's going to bring 20 centimeters of snow or more. It's going to bring a lot of snow. Winds are going to be really strong. That's going to cause blow and drift and so reduce visibilities. Dangerous and stressful driving conditions. It's going to bring a whole lot of snow in Nova Scotia, especially in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, including Sydney and Shelburne, Nova Scotia, Liverpool, Lunenburg, Yarmouth, Pictou, Truro, New Glasgow, and Kiddish, and the surrounding areas. It's going to bring a whole lot of snow. Winds are going to be really strong. It's going to cause blow and drift and so streets, roads, highways, Trans-Canada Highway will be snow covered in Nova Scotia, especially in Halifax. It's going to hit Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, Summerside, Prince Edward Island, and rest of the Prince Edward Island as well. It's going to bring a lot of snow. Winds are going to be really strong. It's going to cause blow and drift and snow. It's going to be really dangerous driving conditions as well. There'll be big waves crashing on beaches, shores, and coastal areas of Nova Scotia. People in Nova Scotia, be prepared. Have your winter boots ready, your jackets ready, hats and gloves, scarves, and ski pants ready. Order your pizzas and order your Chinese food. Buy cases of Pepsi, buy cases of Coke. Do your grocery shopping. Don't wait till last minute. Do it right now. Make sure you have your smartphones, cell phones, laptops, tablets, charged. Have a 3G, 4G, 5G, and LTE in your race. So when you drive a car, take your time, drive a car, slow down, so don't get in car accidents. When you go for a walk, be very careful walking, see don't fall. Make sure your furnaces and heat pumps are ready, and turn on your furnaces and heat pumps to keep those warm. Drink lots of green tea, white tea, red tea. Drink lots of green tea to keep warm. Have for extra blankets ready to keep warm as well. Make sure your shovels, snow scoops, snow blowers, snow plows, and salt trucks ready as well. If you have anybody living in Nova Scotia, be prepared for a major snowstorm on Sunday, February 9, 2025. Take care, stay safe. Don't get caught in a major snowstorm. Stay warm, be safe.
I got something else.
This is Frank McDowell, my own TV station, live in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Snowstorm is headed towards Montreal, Quebec on Thursday, February the 6th, 2025. It's going to bring 10 centimeters of snow or more in Montreal, Quebec, and the surrounding areas, including St. Anne de Belleville, where Base Guy Show lives. And what's going to bring a lot of snow in Montreal, there's another storm headed towards Montreal. It's going to bring lots of snow once again on Saturday, February the 8th, and the Sunday, February 9th, 2025. It's going to bring a lot of snow, and it's going to bring blow and drift and snow, reduce visibilities, really dangerous and treacherous driving conditions, including streets, roads, highways, and Quebec auto routes and Trans-Canada Highway will be snow covered. It's going to bring a lot of snow, especially on auto routes in Quebec. It's going to bring a whole lot of snow. Winds are going to be pretty strong, including Patrick, Sky, the Universe. Patrick lives in Montreal as well. It's going to bring a whole lot of snow in Montreal, especially in St. Anne de Belleville, where Base Guy
show lifts. It's going to bring a lot of snow. Winds are going to be really strong. It's going to cause blowing drifts and snow, reduced visibilities, dangerous and stressful traffic conditions. It's going to bring a whole lot of snow in Montreal on Thursday, February the 6th, 2025. There's another snowstorm heading towards Montreal on Saturday, February 8th, and Sunday, February 9th, 2025, in Montreal, Quebec, and its surrounding areas as well. People in Montreal, Quebec, be prepared. Have your winter boots ready, winter jackets ready, hats and gloves and scarf and ski pants ready. Order your pizzas and order your Chinese food. Buy cases of Pepsi, buy cases of Coke. Do your grocery shopping. Don't wait till last minute. Do it right now. Make sure your smartphone, cell phones, laptops, tablets, charge. Every 3G, 4G, 5G, and LTE rate as well. With a drive car, take your time, drive a car slowly on. So don't get in car accidents. When you go for a walk, be very careful walking into the open slip and fall. Make sure your furnace is heat pumps ready. Turn on your first heat pumps to keep those warm. Drink lots of green tea, white tea. Drink lots of green tea, keep warm. And for extra blankets ready to keep warm as well. Make sure if your shovel, snow scoop, snowblower, snowplow, salt trucks ready as well. If you live in Montreal, Quebec, be prepared for a snowstorm on Thursday, February the 6th, 2025. And there's another snowstorm headed towards Montreal on Saturday, February 8th, and the Sunday, February 9th, 2025. Take care, stay safe. Don't get caught in major snowstorms. Stay warm and be safe.
Guess what's a lot of snow's been downgraded. The light snow for Sunday in Sydney.
Light snow for you in Sydney. It sure makes a difference what a year makes, eh, Frankie? Last year at this time, you were buried. Remember how much snow you had last year?
So much snow.
So much snow, like a meter fell, didn't it, or more?
Hmm.
Yeah. Do
I
you
like
think?
the fact that I like the fact that Frankie's asking us to make sure we have our teddy bears ready to help us keep warm.
Yeah.
The only problem was that he stumbled a little bit on his next word in the next sentence after that, and it sounded like he said, "Don't smell their farts." And for some reason, that just caught me.
Yeah. Frankie, do you think that it's gonna snow on Base Guy?
Yes.
Yeah, it's gonna snow on the Base Guy. Yeah, that's cool. Well, that's Brandon. It seems like your internet's working fine now. Now that's not your
that's good.
Now that's not your time. It's we have you working just fine. So I don't know if you heard about this one, but they got a heist of 100,000 eggs in Pennsylvania, and police have not cracked the case.
Shared that meme with me today. Yes, in the stories of weird news, because I've got what else do we got here? Oh yes, the Netherlands with the playgrounds. They want kids to be more dangerous, sword fighting, playing with fire, building hammers,
Yeah, I heard about this.
That was interesting.
Crazy.
Out of the weird news files.
Crazy
and
new
then
thing
some
there.
squirrels hibernate, so you could actually juggle them so deeply that you could actually juggle squirrels. Did you know that? That's a really cool fact as well.
Oh, they're just like comatose?
Yeah,
they're just
pretty
comatose
much.
and
You just curl up in a ball.
And then I've got my tough question for today. All right. So I'll see if you guys can get this one. So the average person does this 7 times a day. What do you think it is?
These days, weep.
7 times a day.
I look at the news and weep 7 times at least, minimum. Yeah.
Oh boy. All right, Hilding. What do you think? 7 times a day.
I don't know.
You don't know. That's not an answer. Not a good answer.
Punchline.
What it is that we would do exactly 7 times. Like
just
Joey
like make
says,
up
maybe
anything.
7 times. Yeah. Have a nap 7 times a day?
No, definitely not.
I mean, sometimes I have 7 cups of coffee, but
well, that's a good answer. 7 cups of coffee,
Yeah,
good
what do you
answer.
do after you drink
Frankie,
coffee? What do you do 7 times a day, Frankie?
do you either drink coffee?
And that means I like green tea.
What do you do 7 times a day,
Green
Frankie?
tea.
Then you got a karaoke Saturday night.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's. Do you do karaoke 7
Karaoke
times?
7
Yeah.
times a day. That's a good answer.
I go for walks,
Ah.
not
What is it?
karaoke.
Yeah, 7 karaoke songs.
What is it,
Walks-
Brandon?
Oh, that's good. Walks are good. Yeah. Yeah. Answer is actually washing your hands.
Yes, lots of it.
Oh, yeah. That's what
Have
I
you
meant
done
to
that
say.
today? Hopefully.
That's
Good.
what I meant to say. Yeah, because I wash my hands at least 7 times a day. Yeah, it's true. Don't get any weird ideas. I'm seeing price eggs in America $6.39. That's US dollars. That's like $50 Canadian for an egg. It's crazy, man. That's no wonder they're upset. No wonder they're upset. So they're talking about Groundhog Day, and what I got to say about that is groundhogs have no scientific. They have no scientific training whatsoever. Groundhogs don't know anything about meteorology. They've never taken a course. They can't even speak or comprehend complex, ideas. They're just groundhogs, and they like to eat grass and stuff, and live in holes. So they don't have any
Live in
meteorological
holes.
ability. So despite what you think, you should come here to get your weather news because groundhogs don't know anything about the weather actually, and it's just a big farce. And I don't know. People really take it seriously though, and I saw one video of this guy, and he's like dressed in some like old fashioned suit with a top hat, and he's like just yelling like groundhog, trying to see if the thing will come out of its wouldn't come out of its hole. He's just yelling at it.
However, have you seen Balzac Billy, the groundhog?
Balzac Billy? No, that's in Alberta, is it?
Yeah. He's out of Alberta.
Is
and
he
he's
an
a
actual
guy
groundhog, or
in
is
a
he like a
suit.
prairie dog, a gopher?
He's a guy in a costume.
Oh,
There's not a real groundhog there, so they use a guy in a costume. He gets in his costume. He hides behind the big snow hills that they have in the parking lot at the Cross Iron Mills Mall. He hides behind the snowbank. He climbs on top of the hill, and he has
what does he do? Like
sunglasses on,
spy on
and then
people?
he takes his sunglasses off. Well, they're all gathering, so
Oh,
they're
okay.
gathered around.
I thought you were just
this
describing some creepy
pile
guy.
of snow, and he climbs on top. Well, he is kind of creepy, climbs on top of the hill, and he has a pair of sunglasses on, and if he takes his sunglasses off, early spring. But if he leaves the sunglasses on, then I guess 6 more weeks of winter in Calgary. And then in Manitoba, they have Manitoba Merv, and that's the puppet. So they got some guy with a puppet behind a wall. Yeah.
And he just guesses
So
or
that's
just
your
makes it
groundhogs
up?
here in the prairies.
Is there a committee to
guess,
decide
yeah.
if he takes his glasses off or not? Do they consult with any meteorological specialists?
Oh, no. Not really. No.
I hear what what PETA wants to do.
I like
they
have no.
the people against
Oh, yeah.
ethical
They want to
treatment
do
of animals or whatever. The animal rights people that kill dogs. You know those guys. They what they want is there to be no groundhog, and instead there'll be a reveal cake, just like they have for babies.
That's right. A
And
weather cake.
A blue one is spring sometime, and a red one's this, and the and the punchline is they want it to be a vegan cake. Yeah. I
like the guy in the costume better.
Yeah, you got to take baby steps, people. You got to take baby steps. You're trying to nudge the world in a certain direction and change the narrative. Maybe don't go straight for the throat, like vegan cake too. It's like, wow, you just blew your whole idea. No one wants that. But and not that they shouldn't want it. Hey, I've had some good vegan cakes. I'm just saying, like, you're trying to sell this to the public, and the public right now is mad about anything that is progressive. It's like, so you say, you go to work and say, hey, I think we should have a vegan cake. Next thing you know, you'll be fired by Elon Musk. That'll happen. It's like, vegan cake, that's it, you're out. That's not the kind of thing right now you want to be advertising around vegan cakes. I don't know. I'm just Just talking, just talking. Yeah, we almost at a time on the
Yeah.
show here. I've been considering whether I need to make some changes in what we're doing as a show just for my own personal sake. I put a lot of time and effort into making the show every week. And I kind of woke up today, like, just like, it's that stressful thing. And it's like, oh, that's not how I'm supposed to feel. That's not how I used to feel. And it used to be like when we're just a radio show, I'd be done by midnight. And now what I'm finding is it's taking me longer and longer until it's late in the afternoon Friday consistently. And I'm still working on the show. And it's like killing my whole Friday, which is killing my channel, which is hurting my revenues to make a show that, although Rogers has been very, very good to us because we're public access show, it doesn't give us anything financially back. So I'm having to set aside time in my life. You know, you get the picture, right? So I think we're going to keep producing television episodes for the rest of this month at least. And then maybe after that, what we'll do is just live stream, and then I'll make a radio cut real quick, and we'll be podcast, and we'll push that, and we'll try to get into the Stingray playlists and look for some sponsorships and things like that to try to make the
That
show
means that on
sustainable.
Stingray, that means there's a video going to be on Stingray TV channel.
Yeah, well, the radio, right? Brandon's got some ideas about that and whatnot, and just
And a Stingray, and it's Comedeorological weather reports. It's a Stingray TV. They have to have their rules.
yeah, well, we'll cross those hurdles when we get to them, but I just need to cut down the amount of work I'm doing and need to find ways to make the show more sustainable. And the truth
Then
is,
there'll be season finale of the Rogers TV.
podcasters like ourselves all over are seeing big declines in their viewership because there's so much news going on, you know, and people are really distracted, and it's like hard at this time of the year.
It's happened to a lot of comedians in the States and Europe and all those places in Asia and Africa.
It's hard at this time of year to be a weather guy and get everyone's attention every day. There's not that much to talk about through the middle of the winter. It's like the doldrums right now. It's the dead of winter. So, I'm not maybe final exactly on all this yet, but I have some job offers coming up. I got to think about, and even here in town. So
On the Stingray television, you got to verify their rules.
Rogers has been very good to us, and I really like the idea of being on TV. I really do. So it's a hard thing to want to separate from, but at the same time, I could be done on Thursday nights for now on, and then yeah, you get the point. So I guess that's stuff we're looking at this month: how to make the show sustainable, right? So we will continue with the live stream here on Joey on the Caribbean Weather Dude YouTube.
If you want to follow me on social media, my blue sky is at Frankie MacD. My late tree is Frankie MacDonald. My threads is at Frankie MacD984. And my Twitter, now X, is at Frankie MacD. My Facebook is Frankie MacDonald. My Instagram is Frankie MacD934. My TikTok is FrankDonald934. My Clapper is FrankDonald934. My Twitch is FrankDonald934. My Snapchat is Frankie ABCDN. And my YouTube channel, Stocks Wolves, and my LinkedIn is Frankie MacDonald. Best luck to you. I'm Frankie MacDonald. You're listening to Comedeorological every weather report every Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Atlantic.
Yeah, and we want to thank Rogers. We want to thank the radio shows. We want to thank everyone leaving good comments in the chat right now. And yeah, it's a tough time in general for guys like us, podcasters and broadcasters, and but we'll get through it. It's the dead of the winter. It's the hardest time. Thanks to all the radio stations that have been supporting us over the years. You've been really good, CKW and CFR especially. I can't imagine I'd ever want to not send a radio cut to CFR. But as you can imagine, like the amount of work it takes to make a radio cut is pretty quick compared to like getting banners and titles and exporting a higher quality version of a show and then having to upload it to send it in email. It's like it's taking me hours and hours extra to get things done. That's just eating up a lot of my time, and I don't expect a return for doing public access TV. Not at all. No, we're not special. I just don't know if I can keep this up for very much longer. And especially when we get to fire season, I've not been able to. Whereas in the past, I was able to keep making shows at night because it was easy enough to just throw a radio show out. So things I'm thinking about. Thanks for hearing me out, everybody. We really love doing the show, and we love our province, and we're going to keep doing it in some regard. It just might be a little bit different. You know what I didn't do tonight, Frankie? I didn't hit record. I'm gonna have to go back and actually physically record the whole show again.
That's the show.
That's the show. And there you go. I just added an extra hour of work to my time as I'm talking about
Cutting back a lot of time.
how it's taking me a lot of time to make a show.
Oh boy.
Ouch. Okay. Well,
Okay.
that's the show. Cut.
That's the show.
That's the show. Okay, so that's where I'll stop recording when I go back and do it again. My fuck. Yeah, see? That's a lot to keep on top of. Yeah, it's a lot to keep on top of. But, yeah.
Well, you
Damn
know
it.
what you've been saying, Joey, about the amount of time and the frustration. I see it like it's been with my music for the past 15 years. Like I didn't know how to hold a guitar right until 2008, let alone anything about how to play one. And then I started trying to take lessons, and I have a crippled hand. I can't even twist my hand if I wanted it to be able to hold all the strings down that everybody says you have to do to play chords, right? But anybody who knew how to play guitar real well, nobody knew how to interact with my song and actually be able to play backing for me. And it took like 5 years until a couple of people found out, oh, they could play, let's say, Making Hay. Oh, they could figure that out because it was 3 chords. It was real simple. Then they found out how simple my songs were. And a couple of people started reluctantly playing, and they kept saying, well, you got to learn how to play guitar, man. You got to learn how to play guitar. So I finally figured out how to twist my hand enough to be able to play 3 chords kind of clumsily. And I started playing a few songs. And immediately everybody stopped playing for me and said, well, you can play your own stuff now. In the meantime, when I am depressed, the one thing that keeps me out of the doldrums is being able to write music, being able to write songs, being able to put down the poetry, being able to put the tune to it. Nobody else wants to actually help me craft it into something that I can present to people.
Yeah,
I've been
it's
stumbling
frustrating.
away at this for years. Okay. And I've got all kinds of tunes and ideas that people really, really like when I can get people to actually sit down and listen to them. Like, I know there's quality there, and I know that what I'm doing, people want it, but nobody wants to notice the fact that I have limitations.
Well, and I can see that how, I've had this experience oppositely, watching young people who've gone through music school and have middle class liberal parents, and they arrive in the music scene all of a sudden. The next thing you know, they're on CBC radio. I'm like, what? And at the same time, I used to be selling out shows.
Yeah.
And I was young and charming, and I could sing real well, and I had it. I had it.
Yeah.
And so I can imagine how frustrating it would be for my good friends like David Roy Parsons, who wrote brilliant songs, but he's got physical limitations, and he doesn't have the projection power of the voice that I had in the stage. And it's like Dave had to always sit there and watch guys like me steal all the show, right? And so we did our best to, play David's songs and bring him with us and keep him involved and whatnot. But I hear that. And I guess like the other thing is too, as I was saying at the beginning of the show, like when I make a television episode, and then I'm working all day on Friday to do it, what happens is then when the kids come and I got Saturday, then I end up having 3 days in a row because I don't want to make anything on Thursday because I know I'm going to have to be in work mode for so long that I didn't produce anything today. So what's actually driving revenue in my channel is largely the Patreons and the members and the people leaving super donors and a little bit of advertising revenue, because I've gone from 100 and something thousand views a month to 35,000 views a month in the last 3 months, right? So it's like I'm not getting advertising revenue. And then in the Rogers format, I can't sit here and say, please support the channel.
No.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
I'm like trying to get exposure, but to do that, I'm having to like kind of cut short what I can say to actually try to drive. I can't get a sponsorship. Whereas this college radio doesn't have those kind of rules. If we're just doing
Right.
college radio alone, I could get a sponsorship and be like, hey, this show is brought to you by,
Yeah.
you know, and that's paying for some of the work. It's, you know, making some of my time back. And it's like, you know, so I produced the new episode, the final cut, and then put it on YouTube, and it gets like 100 views because people who are going to watch already watched on Thursday night the live stream.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, it creates a dead zone in my week where I'm not producing content that is in some ways helping grow the channel.
Yeah.
Even though it's a lot of fun, and the live stream is, you know, we had 500 and something views last week in the live stream. That's great. You know, that's a sign of progress. And I think we could keep growing that.
Well, I mean, like,
and we could, you know, we could start looking at weather maps while we're on the show and look at things that we can't actually physically put on Rogers, so to actually make it more entertaining for the audience that's going to actually support the show.
Yeah.
But it's clear now that like what my viewership wants is weather forecasts and bad news show. Like they'll support me on that. And I'm sure they would too at this if I could say, hey, you know, support what we're trying to do here. And then try to advertise it, like, you know, get the podcast version on Stingray or on Apple or on here on the radio. You know what I mean? And then I just don't make a final cut, a final video cut. I just fucking don't do any of that.
What's the most important thing is our voices and our bantering, and not necessarily the picture quality or anything. So why not emphasize our voices and our banter? That's the thing that is the meat of the show.
So yeah, just some things, you know, I feel like what I'd really like is if we could have got to a point in the TV at some point where we could have sold the show to a Canadian broadcaster as a cheap CanCon. Like, hey, you know, if you give us 200 grand, I can afford a real fancy camera and an upgraded internet, and we could pay our members a little bit, and you know, we could make this cheap show that gives you your Canadian content. That you know, and there's a lot of sense towards why that would work, but I can't slog out. I can't slog for free forever on TV and expect that someone's going to want to see value in that if we're just going to give it away. And that was the way it was with my music career, right? Like, you know, this painting up here, you're well aware of it, is painting of me there is called, it was made by Travis Sharuk from the band Party on High Street.
Yeah.
And it's called Dying from Exposure. And the reason it's called Dying from Exposure is a famous quote there that a promoter was trying to get people to play this big event in Vancouver there and this and that. And he said, well, I'm like, well, what's the pay? You know, because at that point I was playing over 100 shows a year, which is a pretty busy schedule. If you think about it, that's once every 3 point something days on average through the year, right? I know a lot of people have busier schedules, but we'd go on 2, 3, 4 week tours and then come home for a month or two, try to get everyone to get their lives back in order and make our next run successful by having some time to promote and get our stuff together and get new songs. And, you know, so we kind of had this like on for a month, off for 2 months kind of spiel with the Outlaw Band often. But we ended up playing, you know, by the time we get playing our monthly radio Railway Club gig, and by the time we did our radio shows on Co-op Radio, you know, we were still putting in a lot of time. The promoter's like, you know, it's this big show and it's this big thing, and and I said, well, yeah, okay, this sounds big. Well, what's the pay for that for the band then? What's the compensation going to be like? And he says, well, it's no compensation, but it's going to be good for exposure. I said, I'm dying from exposure, because at that point we were one of the most upcoming bands in Vancouver. We're in the Georgia Strait fucking music section, and
Yeah.
we never got that music industry push, but we had popularity and indie
You
cred,
actually
right?
had the
So
popularity that you wanted, like because you were wanting to give songs to the people, not just to be popular for the sake of being popular.
and that's the thing. I didn't want it to be a business necessarily. I wanted to
Right.
have that socialist ethic, and sure, I'll do whatever I can for everybody. But it just came to a point where I'm like, just too busy.
Yep.
I'm too busy and I'm too tired, and my voice needs time to rest.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like to actually
I
have
know what you
strong
mean.
vocals, and I need, I can't just keep coming and playing. And what eventually happens is you start getting more and more bitter and getting more and more of a sour attitude as you get to this event. It's like, well, they're not
Mhm.
going to pay us. Then you get there and they're completely just fucking organized. Their
Yeah.
sound man's, half on crack or something. And well, no one knows what's going on. And is there a green room? And and you got to pay for your own drinks too. And is there food? No. It's like, man,
Yeah.
at least when I realized that bars were making $10,000 and more in liquor sales off us on a dead night because of how hard we play, I was like, man, no, we're worth something here.
Yeah.
We're bringing people coming in and they're drinking and they're paying and they're buying food, and we filled this place up and it's worth something. And we realized like, no, there's a bottom line, and if you want us to play a gig, you got to include 3 zeros
Mm-hmm.
before you're talking to us now, and it's,
Yeah.
and then what happened was COVID hit and everything's changed, and now every musician can't seem to make work.
No.
You're no longer unique. And I haven't even tried anymore because I don't even know any of the promoters out there anymore. It's like going into some sort of nether realm now of unknowingness, right? It's like the
Well, I
clubs I
ended
used
up
to.
kind
I
of
know the
playing.
Palomino still exists in Calgary. There's a haunt I used to always play, but I don't know. It's not Spencer Brown booking there no more. I don't know who the booking agent is. I don't have
Yeah.
rapport with them.
Yeah, and you don't know the person, so then how do you? That's what you lived on before.
So it's I used to be able to like cross Canada and fill my calendar with gigs, and now I'd have to actually work to do it. And I don't know if the money's there. And it's like, yeah, I know. And there was a pride that happened after a while. It's like, yeah, we're a professional band, so we're gonna come and we're gonna be good. We're gonna be ready. We're gonna play hot. We're gonna sound good. We're gonna be in tune. You're gonna get what you pay for. And so we took ourselves seriously. So you show up and you give a good performance quality, and then because they know that they're putting money down to have you there, they're treating you good because you're helping them and you're in business together for the night. Anyways, I'm not sure how incredibly relevant that is to Rogers necessarily, but going back to the original story, dying of exposure, it's like at a certain point, just having exposure isn't putting bread on the plate.
No.
Yeah, and then the thing is, when we're on Rogers, I can't really talk about it on my radio stations because we're kind of competitors. Yeah,
that's.
But if we're on
they
Stingray Podcast Network,
they didn't want
I
you
will
on the show
be able to talk about this show like every day.
They didn't want you on the show to begin with because you're a professional media.
Yeah.
Which is, understandable. Again, we don't expect them to break a whole bunch of rules for us, and it's nothing to do. It's nothing personal against Rogers, and it could be easy to think like, well, it's $1 billion company that could at least help us, but that's not what we signed up for. We signed up to be, your communist radio show. We just fucking give what we have to give to you, right? and our work is yours, and it's nothing against them at all, right? But I feel like we could probably cut down how much work I'm doing, probably have better success in growing the channel and the show at this point. So 2 men died after falling into a lake near Agassiz while ice fishing. This is hard for me to comprehend, and I'm not out to shame people who've just died. But this is hard for me to comprehend, knowing, I haven't gone ice fishing this year. Now I would, because I've not trusted the Jack of Clubs ice here in Wells. And it's
Mhm.
been winter
Yeah.
here since the end of October, if you recall.
Yeah.
But what happens is we get a lot of snow on top of our ice, and you get some currents under the water, and you
Yeah.
don't get an
Yeah.
even freeze. You don't get an
Yeah,
even
ice in
freeze. But
BC
meanwhile, so
is
it's like,
difficult.
you know, these guys, it's not been cold enough in Agassiz to make ice thick enough to be out there,
No.
Mhm.
you know. And I hope
In
people,
Alberta, yeah, all the lakes frozen solid. Good to walk on, drive on the lakes out here. But yeah, BC, it hasn't been cold enough. Yeah.
I've seen many years where, because of the way I was just talking about the snow and the current here, that it'd be middle of December and people are driving trucks around on Dragon Lake and Quesnel. And I come out here and I'm like, try to get on the ice and it's like punky at the edge by
Oh,
the
yeah.
mouth of the river, you know. And I'm like,
I can
so,
remember
I mean,
going
this is,
skating when ice was when it was 40 below and there was holes in the ice at the edge because of there being so much heavy snow. You know, the
I-
insulation quality of the snow just kept it from freezing.
in non-weather news, I'm not sure if you've seen this one, Brandon, but there's a shopper who's suing Save On Foods in Princeton.
Oh, no, I have not. Slipping on. Oh, boy.
They slipped on poop in the Princeton
This is
store
a
aisle. A
crazy
trip to
one.
the grocery store went from bad to worse for a shopper who claims she slipped in feces and injured her knee at a Princeton grocery store. So she said that she was not aware that a pile of excrement was on the floor and stepped on it when leaving the aisle she was in, getting feces all over her foot. So, you know, like workers there have to pick that feces up and put it back on the shelf where it belongs. Pick that shit up. Right?
Oh my.
Or you might get sued, you know?
Oh my. Yeah, there has to be a big sign up in the grocery store, don't crap on the floor.
Yeah, I haven't heard that one, you know, I know before in a while. Yeah, here's this goosey saying, "We will fuck you up, giant shit hawk." Yeah, awesome goose there.
I'm going to head out.
Yeah, I think we're
We're good.
almost done looking at everything here, and yeah,
Now that
productive
my
day.
Wi-Fi's working.
Now that your Wi-Fi's working, I do feel better about things after we kind of worked it all out. You know, whatever anxiety I was feeling this morning. Yeah, the guy hit a fire truck and he got arrested for it, I think, too. In Coburg, Ontario, there. Coburg, we used to go to some really wicked punk rock shows in that town, man. There was a band called Necropolis from there, and Henry's Volunteer, and yeah, Coburg used to be rocking back in the day. Coburg, Ontario, can you believe it? And it was good. It was good. Brandon's gone, and that's the end of him. I guess that's pretty much the end of us.
Yep.
Could look at
I've got some
what our
song
models.
lyrics I'm going to send you, Joey.
Pardon me?
I got some song lyrics I wrote a couple years back. I want to send you. I think you'll get a kick out of it.
Yeah, okay. Deal. I got to actually record this entire show again.
Yeah.
Gonna have
That was a
to
good one.
put the screen grab on and let it play for an hour. That's so fucking annoying. My God. Just as I'm
Life isn't
complaining about
perfect.
it being too much work, I create an extra hour plus work. Yeah, that was dumb. That's not the first time, is it?
I think
like
you did a couple other times, yeah.
Yeah, it's like the third time, I think, at least.
At least I'm not the only one who always does that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bad. Oh, well.
Life moves on.
Back to making more work. Well, that's the show for this week, and thanks to everybody. Look at all the comments. Wow, I can't even imagine so many. No, Rogers doesn't pay for the show. We're on cable access. We're community programming, just like we're being played by university stations. for the radio, so we're not getting any thing back
Compensation
from
there
any
either.
of those.
No.
So it's, and and we don't expect to. I wouldn't call C for radio either and be like, hey, well, you got to start paying us for the show because I can't put 8 to 10 hours a week into a show anymore for free. It's killing my own channel and it's killing my will to live. And it's no, you signed up for college. You you volunteered to make a show is what you
Yep.
did. That's what I did. I volunteered to make a show. It's no one's fault. It's no
Well, it's
one.
just you can only go so far in volunteering until you have to have some compensation to keep living. I understand that totally.
Yeah, but I want this channel to keep going and continue. And
Yeah.
there may have to be times like I don't feel like it's fully sustainable right now, and I may have to take
Yeah.
some work here in Wells, some demolition that Curtis and Shannon have over at the hotel. I don't want to have to be when these guys come to Wells to do this work and use a couple of us locals to do it. I don't want to be like, well, on Fridays I can't though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah. No,
and that's just a small example, but it's a good example of like I could still continue this channel. I need to pick up some work on the side, it looks like, for a little while because views are down across the board and there's just only so much yeah.
only so much a person can do. Nobody is indispensable. We all want to be, but we can't.
Just need to spend less time, and then I feel like I'd have more energy for the live stream too. It's like, well, we might as well live stream longer.
Well,
Spend more
if you're
time looking at
enjoying
maps.
it, then there's no reason to run it to a certain length and dead stop and all this kind of stuff. You're free. You're enjoying yourself. It's much better production when you're enjoying yourself.
Yeah, it's true. I do feel like we've been pretty square this last while, like just in our, and the part of that's because I feel like, well, I'm trying to make a
Yeah, to polish
professional
it
level
much.
TV show.
Too much time polishing, and then you don't end up with the actual live experience.
On a zero budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, the channel will go on here. We'll go on, and and like Brandon said, we could put the show into the Stingray rotation. Maybe have some radio stations in Canada that pick it up, and be able to have sponsorships for the show as well in doing so, and things like that. Just expand. And then what happens too is every week when Mark gets the show up onto the podcast platforms, and he starts putting the word around, by that time I'm so brain dead and the kids are here and I don't have the energy to promote another thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I'd be better served to wake up Friday morning and promote what we just did than spend 5 hours plus turning it into a show to send to.
Well, like you said, it's not paying anything, and it's actually detracting from the amount of advertisement you could be getting for your other shows, other channels. And it's
and on top of that, I could be waking up Friday morning and being like, oh, I better make a fresh video because this is happening in BC.
Yep.
Which makes more time to make new, fresh content instead of spending a whole other day rehashing last night's content.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree totally.
It's been a fun, and then yeah, there wouldn't be I wouldn't put the final version up on YouTube. There wouldn't be no final video version necessarily, right?
No, the live stream would be good now.
iHeartRadio, Gary's saying in the chat there. Yeah, just try to find some options for growth and again, cut down the amount of work I'm doing here. Cut down the amount of work I'm doing on one show so I can maybe produce more shows or at least have some time to do some more odd jobbing around Wells and pick up to get through the winter because it's like we're close. It's mid-February and I still have enough to make through another month of child support. It's like almost got through the winter. Like fire season is close. I managed to do it, and just be a YouTuber. And I think that's really exciting. And it's not out of the possible that it's not out of the question that I could see this grow to, a sustainable place.
Yeah.
One other piece of news that I haven't talked about today yet in the show, and that's that our former mayor here died in Wells. And
Yeah, I saw you posted that earlier. That's too bad.
I haven't. Yeah, Robin was a pretty good friend. Robin Sharp. He was the past mayor. He was a councillor, the mayor of District of Wells. He was manager at Barkerville one day at a time. He passed away today in Chilliwack, or passed away on the February 5th, I should say, not today. I'm just reading this now. And out for everybody. Yeah, like I knew Robin was sick. Carrie's been keeping me in the loop kind of every step of the way. And I think people only found out yesterday he was in the hospice. And I've been kind of quiet about it all. I've not been. I did send Robin some emails, and I know he probably read them, but couldn't respond. Even sent him some of my fire plan that I had for Wells, and just like, well, he's the former mayor. Like, if you're, sitting there in your hospital bed and want to read something and feel like you're contributing, just here's what's going on in Wells or whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah, he was past mayor and councillor. He's known as a kind person, a friend and leader to all. He was with BC Parks, then provincially again with Barkerville Historic Park and Cottonwood Historic Site. After that with the Caribou Regional District and the District of Wells. Decades of leadership to all citizens of British Columbia to make our communities better, cooperative, and respectful. He was a very progressive-minded guy. He always took everything I said seriously. I know I'm a very off-the-wall political person. You would always see Robin A. Sharp hitting like on my posts and whatnot, and even if it would be politically uncomfortable for Wells, even in his own position, he would be very supportive. And I used to walk up the hill to his house up above me here and go for walks up there always. And it'd be like, now that someone from the mine is living there, Barkerville Gold Mine has the control of the house now. And I don't want to walk up there because I'm going to have to walk right beside this. Like the house is like right on the road. And it's like, well, I used to walk by. And that was Robin's. I'd stop and, hey, how's it going? And I just haven't gone up there. And it's not, I didn't think it was conscious until now, today that I was thinking about that. But yeah, he was a good neighbor and friend. He put 26 years into Barkerville. He gave a lot to this town. He was always supporting of my band. He always came to our shows. He encouraged me to keep the outspoken maniac that I am. I miss being able to drop on him since he left town, since he moved south again. I often said the town shifted about the time Robin left. It was like the old guard was gone and a new guard came in with kind of a different ethic than the old guard has always had here. And, it's not all bad, but no, some of it's good. But at the same time, Wells has changed a lot from what I recognize it to be. He'd been sick for some time. He just recently went to the hospice. I would hope everyone in Wells and Barkerville in the offices would lower their flags to half mast for him. There was nothing that could be done for Robin. His cancer was, I don't think it was a cancer, but it was like something that if you said it, you would say, oh, that's cancer. It was, I'm not going to try to make the distinction and try to explain that right now.
Yeah.
But it was inoperable. And yeah, he was in quite a bit of pain. And there was no going back. So to Robin A. Sharp up there, love you, man. You did good for us all. And you're a good man. You cared for your community. You worked hard. You put other people first. You are what I hope we can all aspire to be. I hope when someday my time comes, people will say there was a guy who really cared.